Welcome to Old Stickfingers. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got one land, so let's go and send this one back. Let's go take a mulligan on that. And that is Dark Moss Bridge and Ancient Tomb with Demonic Tutor. Yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like it. We've actually got a pretty decent hand. We've got Animate Dead, Persist. So with this, let's go and put Animate Dead on the bottom, since that's going to be an enchantment. So let's go and click OK. Let's go and lead off with Dark Moss Bridge. And then anything else, let's go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yes, welcome to Old Stickfingers. Hope you're excited to get the graveyard going today. That is the game plan. So we're playing Old Stickfingers. And yeah, I started calling it Old Stickfingers when I was doing prep work. And it will not get out of my head. And it makes me laugh thinking about it. So we got Old Stickfingers. Whenever you cast it, and actually we'll cover that in a second. Let's get our turn going. So we've got Ancient Tomb, and then we run into Volrath's Stronghold. So let's go ahead and go Ancient Tomb. Actually, yeah, Volrath's Stronghold. That way we don't take any damage. Let's go for a Demonic Tutor. Helps if we tap down for black the first go around. There we go. Let's get this popped out. And we can Life from the Loam and try to kind of start dredge. Yeah, I think I like that. Because if we go for Cultivate, we could probably hit it with Ancient Tomb. But if they got a counter spell and we don't hit any lands after that, then that is not fun. So let's just grab Life from the Loam, and then anything else is going to pass the turn over to our opponent. So we're playing Old Stickfingers. Whenever you cast this spell, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Then put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard. Then the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. And Old Stickfingers is power and toughness equal to the number of creature cards that we have in our graveyard. That is going to be Winding Way, which I do like. So let's go ahead and drop in. I think we'll drop in Ancient Tomb. I guess it's technically not going to matter because we can. Well, I guess we could get. But no, it's not going to matter. So let's drop in Ancient Tomb. And let's go for Winding Way. Yeah, I think I like that. So let's go Winding Way. Let's see if this is good. We're going to name land on this one because we want to get some lands going into our hands. So it's going to be Woodland, Chasm, and Forest. Okay. And then anything else is going to pass the turn over to our opponent. Playing against Brudiclad, Telchor Engineer. Creature tokens you control have haste. Then, at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 2/1 blue mirror artifact creature token. Then you may choose a token you control. If you do, each other token you control becomes a copy of that token. If you've never built Brudiclad, man, that is a fun commander right there. I will tell you. Brudiclad is definitely worth the build, even if it's budget or casual or competitive. Brudiclad is a lot of fun with that token ability. It's just, there's a lot of cool things you can do with that. So, all right, so we run into Windswept Heath, which is actually perfect. So we've got Persist with Scut Swarm, and that is a 1/1. So unfortunately, that's not going to work out with Persist. So let's do this. So let's go and drop in Windswept Heath. Yeah, I kind of like that. So we drop in Windswept Heath. Let's go ahead and crack Windswept Heath. And we're going to grab ourselves Bayou. That way we can get one of our dual sources onto the battlefield. There we go. Let's go for Life from the Loam. Bring back that Windswept Heath. And that way we can get the dredge option going. And then we've got Go for the Throat, which unfortunately Brudiclad is an artifact creature. So we'd have to watch out for that. And then nothing else for the turn. So we're simply going to go and pass it. So we did cover both commanders. Give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. I certainly appreciate that. Also, let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders. Let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com/Jolt for 10% off of your order. And last but not least, I started a Patreon. So if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home, like you should in the graveyard, it is officially free time. So let's have some fun. Our opponent's off to a very nice start. Let me say that. It's not overpowered, but, you know, they're turning out some mana rocks, and you want to have a lot of mana to play Brudiclad, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But we'll talk about what we've got going with Old Stickfingers here in just a second. All right, so we got Salivating Gremlins. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, they're going to get +2/+0 and gain Trample. So that actually could be pretty... I think that could be... Yeah, that's going to be... I think that's worth a Go for the Throat. Yeah, I think that is. Simply because if that does get down and they get a lot of artifacts down, that can get out of hand pretty quick. So we're going to get some pretty good respect on that Gremlin. All right, send them to the graveyard. And then if we had a removal spell that didn't care about our artifact creature, we would definitely hold it for Brudiclad. But since Brudiclad is an artifact, we can't use it. So that's why we're going for that pretty quick. So let's go Life from the Loam. And nothing that we can bring back creature-wise just yet. Let's drop in Windswept Heath. And so we can end up going for Life from the Loam, but we've got 2 more land drops to make, and I think at this point we might want to see if we can't get some sort of value creature with persist. So let's grab forest. Let's have forest enter the battlefield, and let's get old Stickfingers on the battlefield. It's gonna be black and green, and then tapping down for 4. I think that sounds like a pretty good option. So we're gonna go for Entomb for 4. See what we run into off of this. This is a value-based Stickfinger deck. So, we don't really have any combos in here. We're just trying to get a lot of good stuff out there and have a lot of fun with it. All right, so we got not the best thing out there. Oh, excuse me, we got Gitrog. That is one of the best things out there. So yeah, so we got a 5/5, and then anything else will pass the turn. So we got Life from the Loam. We did hit Gitrog out of the graveyard, and so that'll be what we're going for next turn, because we can get that out for 2. So anything else will pass back over to our opponent. But yes, you can't go combo with old Stickfingers. Depending on how you want to set this deck up, you can run a 2-card combo that's going to be Mike and Trike. You can get those down, and then you just damage the table out. And when I started building the deck, I didn't really know where I wanted to take it. And one of the things that if you've never built a graveyard deck, Life from the Loam is key to any sort of graveyard deck. You want to get the dredging stuff going. And, oh, look at this. We got Telchor on the battlefield. You want to get the dredge going. That fuels your graveyard for creatures. It also allows you to keep making your land drops and kind of focusing around Life from the Loam being the key factor to a deck like this. I did want to put in kind of like a landfall package in here. So we've got stuff like Azusa. You saw we have Scut Swarm in the graveyard. We can't bring it back for Persist. We've got Tireless Tracker. We've got Tireless Provisioner. There's just a lot of times where you get to late game. And, it is nice to get Gitrog out there. But let's say we bring something back like Tireless Tracker. We can start making those land drops. You just want to be able to make sure that we can utilize Life from the Loam early in the game and utilize it late in the game, which is always a good option. All right. So we've got a 5/5, which is going to be us taking care of Tezzeret. So let's go ahead and go for that right now before we, yeah, because we don't need to get Gitrog out right now. So let's go and push in with old Stickfingers. Got the 5/5 swinging across. Let's take care of Tezzeret, because we have a lot of respect for Tezzeret too. So swinging for a 5/5. That'll get rid of Tezzeret. And then we'll figure out what we want to end up going for. We've actually got 2 different things that we can do. We can get some value going with Gitrog and Life from the Loam, or we can end up going for Doom Whisperer and be super aggressive with that, and then try to set up a Living Death. So I think at this point, I just like going for the, excuse me, that's going to be non-legendary. We cannot bring back that with Ravenous Chupacabra. So let's do this. So let's end up going for, yeah, I think I kind of like let's get Doom Whisperer down. And actually, we have not made the land drop for the turn, so let's kind of do this just a little bit differently. So let's go ahead and drop in Forest. Let's go Life from the Loam. That's going to be Windswept Heath, Temple of Malady. That's going to be double green. There we go. That's a little bit better right there. Now let's go for Doom Whisperer. And Doom Whisperer is great in a deck like this because we just want to end up dumping as many creature cards in the graveyard. And I can kind of show you what we're going to try to end up going for with Doom Whisperer on this one. So anything else, let's go ahead and pass the turn. So we do have the Gitrog line of play in this deck. If we get Life from the Loam going, that does allow us to keep the dredge going. That gets more creature cards in the graveyard. And then once we have Gitrog out there, it creates it to where we're kind of creating that value engine where we're trying to draw as many cards as possible. With Doom Whisperer on the battlefield, what we can end up doing is we can simply just be super aggressive with that life total and really start paying it, get that Surveil going into the graveyard, then use something like Persist to end up with something good on the battlefield. Or we can just simply set it up to where we have a huge Stickfingers out there that can really deal with our opponent's life total, really kind of chip away at our opponent's life total. So a couple different ways you can go for some of these value creatures. Outside of Doom Whisperer and Gitrog Monster, we do have Underrealm Lich in here, which is another good option. It's almost kind of like a good mix between Doom Whisperer and Gitrog Monster, that once you get Lich down, if you draw a card, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your library, grab one, then dump the rest in the graveyard, which is always a good feeling. And as far as kind of like our Victimize, our get 2 creature cards out at the same time, we've got the Crater Hoof and Izoni line of play, which is a very fun thing to go for. And do we want to end up going for Doom Whisperer right now? We've got the Surveil. Yeah, let's go and go for it. Let's get the Surveil going. Let's be aggressive on this. So we're not really seeing a lot of action from our opponent, so I want to do that. So let's go and put that into the graveyard, put Glowspore into the graveyard. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for these activations, and then I'll pause if we get something good or we have a line of play that we end up going for. And actually, we run into Fleshbag Marauder, and I think I kind of like Fleshbag on this one, so let's go and put that on top of our library. All right, so we'll draw into that. We definitely don't want to dredge Life from the Loam because we actually do want that creature. I guess technically we could Life from the Loam, but let's just go and cast Fleshbag. So let's go for Fleshbag Marauder. So have fleshback enter the battlefield. That's going to have each creature, each player sacrifice a creature. Now that does give them the option to get a card draw, not option. That does give them the card draw from Sad Robot. But at this point, we just want to clear the way for old Stickfingers to get in for a pretty good chunk of damage. So let's make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Woodland Chasm. And I think what we'll end up doing is we could dump more creature cards in the graveyard, but we're not going to be able to close it out from right now. What I think we'll end up doing is, yeah, let's be aggressive on this one. So let's go and push in. Let's swing in with Old Stickfingers, and let's go and swing in with Doom Whisper. That's going to be 6/6 coming across. That's going to be at least 13. And let's go ahead and go for, yeah, let's go for Doom Whisper. All right, so we're going to put that into the graveyard. All right, so we're going to cap it off at 10. So we've got 17 coming across on our opponent. And one of the things that we're going to end up going for is we've got Entomb in our graveyard. We don't have Crater Hoof, so that's what we're going to end up going for. So let's go for Timeless Witness. That's going to be double green. That's going to be 2 off of Ancient Tomb. That's going to drop us down to 8. There we go. Let's have Timeless Witness enter the battlefield. What we're going to do is we're going to bring Entomb back to the hand. I like that. Bring Entomb back to the hand, and that's going to be an instant speed action for us that we can do during our upkeep. And then that's going to allow us to go for Persist next turn, which we can drop in Crater Hoof, which should be enough with trample damage. I think that should get in on that one. We'll see what our opponent does decide to get out there. But we could have gone a little bit deeper on Doom Whisper line of play, but with us having Ancient Tomb out there, we still wanted to protect some sort of life total because those tokens can have haste. The only good thing is that our opponent has not cast their commander yet, so that's going to be a big chunk of their mana for the turn. So, but yeah, that's what we're looking to do with Old Stickfingers. One of the things that one of the things I like about it is that it sets you up. Let's say you have something like Living Death. It sets you up for an opportunity to have. There's a lot of times you can see where we dredge something. Let's say we end up dredging something like Golgari Grave Troll. It's going to be 6 cards into the graveyard. Maybe we hit 2 out of the 6, 3 out of the 6. One of the good things about Old Stickfingers is you're very versatile in what your deck's going to be, especially if you built it in this way where we've got different graveyard style synergies, whether it's Gitrog, whether it's Doom Whisper, being able to kind of have your gameplay be very fluid in what you want to do. Let's say you have Living Death and that sets it up for really nice big Old Stickfingers. It's just nice to have that option. All right, so opponent's going to pass the turn. They just simply go for Walking Atlas, and that's going to be Genesis. Do we want to bring anything back? I think we're okay right now. So let's go and click Cancel. Let's click Lana Worlds. We'll just click OK on that one. Now, we are watching out for counter magic, so let's try to get this Entomb. So we're not going to pay for that ability. Let's go Entomb right now during our upkeep and see if this is good. Because we do have to play around counter magic. So if they want to, if they've got counter magic, maybe they've got it. Let's get this popped out. Let's put old Crater Hoof into the graveyard. There we go. And we'll see if this is good or not. All right, so we go to our draw step. And we've got the land drops for the turn, so let's just see what we draw to. All right, so we rip into Forest. And let's go for Persist on Crater Hoof. Let's see if this is good. And we cannot tap double Forest on that one, so there we go. Let's tap down Black. Let's see if this is good on Crater Hoof. If they got counter magic, they've got it. At the very least, we can lose. All right, that's going to be Crater Hoof. Okay, that's going to be a 4/4. That's going to be a pretty nice buff for the board. And let's make the land drop for the turn. Let's go and push in with the Crew. They might have Cyclonic Rift, man. If they do, it's not the end of the world, but at least go and force them to have it. So we're going to send the entire crew in. All right, so we're going to get Walking Atlas to block on Crater Hoof, but that should be enough right there. Between, that's going to be 16. Yeah, because we've got a 15/15. All right, let's see if this is. Ooh, they're going to have Aetherize. Okay, a little bit of a bummer. So that's it. They do have an answer. That sends everything back to the hand. And so now the good thing is that we do get Eternal Witness back. And so let's see if there's any sort of thing that we want to grab to set us up for next turn. Okay, so what we're going to do on this, we're going to go Timeless Witness. Let's go 1, 2, and we can actually be a little bit cautious on this one and not get our life total down low. So let's go Timeless Witness on Demonic Tutor, because we have not hit Living Death yet. So what we can do is we can Demonic Tutor for Living Death. I like that. All right, so let's go Demonic Tutor, let's bring that back to the hand, and then anything else. No, we will simply just going to go ahead and pass the turn to our opponent. So what we can end up doing on this one is we do have some of our best options out. We've got Crater Hoof and Doom Whisper in the hand. So what we're probably going to end up doing is we can go for Dredge on Life from the Loam. We've got half our library left. That might put Living Death in the graveyard. But if we do end up going for Life from the Loam, that allows us to bring some more lands back to the hand. Let's kind of see on that one. All right, so we got Preordain opponents going for. But yeah, if we end up going, oh, that's what I was going for. With Life from the Loam, if we get enough lands into our hand, eventually we can dump old Stickfingers or dump Doom Whisperer, dump Craterhoof in there, and that'll give us the option to get a Living Death that will stick and resolve. So we'll see what else they've got going on our opponent's side of the battlefield. One thing that we do need to watch out for is we did see Aetherize, and they are definitely in the range of Cyclonic Rift mana, which does kind of stop our Craterhoof line of play. So we'll see what else can happen. Okay, so that's going to be Daretti coming down. Daretti's going to go for the +2, sack an artifact, looking at Sad Robot out of the graveyard, so we're not super worried about that. So yeah, I guess at least at this point right now, Daretti's just going to be a little bit more of a value piece. With us sitting at 23, we'll see. We'll keep us open on Demonic Tutor. Let's see what they end up doing for the turn, actually, before we kind of start talking about what we're going to do. Okay, so let's go to our draw step. We do have Genesis, which is... I think we're okay on anything like Genesis. I mean, we could go for the Flesh Bag line of play if we wanted to, but to be honest, we probably want more stuff out of the graveyard. So let's just target one creature. We'll target Ravenous Chupacabra. All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on that one. So we've got Demonic Tutor. What we're going to end up doing is going for Living Death. I don't really know why they scooped up on this one. The only thing I would say is that, and unfortunately, we don't have a clear winner in this one, but with them scooping, that's probably going to be them saying that we just don't really have a lot of action going into the late game. What we're going to be able to do with Genesis is we can bring anything back that we want. What we're going to do is we're going to go for a Demonic Tutor on Living Death. And so if we kind of look at our mana real quick, we make the land drop for the turn. That's going to be Windswept Heath. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we Demonic Tutor for 2. That'll leave us 8 mana. So we could old Stickfingers for 1, but at this point that would get a lot of creatures out there. That'd be Gitrog Monster out there. And that'll allow us to kind of start to build up another value board state and eventually end up getting it with Craterhoof. So just to give you an example, if we hit Living Death, that's going to be Scud Swarm coming out. We've got Gitrog, we've got a whole assortment of creatures out there, and then we simply untap next turn, slam down a Craterhoof, and we are definitely good to go. So, unfortunately, we don't see the win on this one, but that's definitely where the game was trending, and especially if our opponent's going to scoop it up at this point in the game, we'll take it as a win. So, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.